Hello, my name is Junki Kim Kim and I'm a 61B student at Berkeley, and this is what I did for the gold points on my project 0. So I mainly drew inspiration from one of the ideas that the staff recommended, which was add the ability to control a spacecraft that is subject to the gravitational forces of the objects in the solar system. So when I was thinking about how to implement this into code, there were two main thoughts. How do I make this new object be subject to the gravitational forces? And then how to have the ability to control the spacecraft. So before I explain, let's first start off with the visualization of how the program works. So here's the program, and then as you can see, the planets are here as usual, and then I implemented the Death Star because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. But anyways, as you can see, it's just revolving around the sun like normal, but if we start pressing inputs, key inputs, then we can just move around the Death Star in the way that we like. But as you can tell, we don't really have full control over how the Death Star moves, and the reason is because it's still subject to the gravitational forces between each of the planets. So if we just leave it in orbit like this again, it's getting pulled in by the sun, and then by the other planets as well. Okay, let's just test it out. What happens if we go to the sun? It gets launched away. So mainly for this, the coding for this wasn't, in terms of the gravitational forces part, wasn't all too bad, because it was the same implementation as the other planets we see here. We just had to add the Death Star into the same process that the planets had to go through in order for the gravitational forces to come through. But the arrow keys were a little bit hard. But thanks to the std draw library, there is a command, or a method, I should say, called isKeyPressed, where it takes in an integer. And the integer corresponds to the key number. So basically, for the up key, the key number would be 38, for example, or the left key would be 37. And by using those keys, we were able to detect the input by me, or the user, and then once the key was detected, we just added a force depending on what side it was. And as you can see, the application has ended there because the time has been reached. So if we open it again, so yeah, the code implemented makes it so that depending on what key you press, there's a force exerted on the object in the respective direction. So let's say I push the right key, then there will be a force of 10 to the 21th power applied to the right side. And there was really no reason why I specifically chose 10 to the 21st, but I just found that it was a pretty good value for being able to see how much control you have over the spaceship in space. So yeah, apart from that, there's nothing really much else, and thank you for watching.